We have reached the last video in this presentation where we will mainly focus on editing videos. This is often a necessary step because the recorded videos are never guaranteed to be perfect enough to share without any editing. You might want to make a bunch of smaller videos when you are free and merge them together to create your complete lecture. Or it can be the opposite. Maybe on a weekend you can record for hours and later you can split them up into smaller parts for your lecture. Or you might want to delete unnecessary background noise. I myself have had a hard time editing out crows and barking dogs out of the demos I have made for these presentations. So I'm hopeful that this last video will help out a lot of people. Video editing softwares are what we are going to use in order to do the things we just mentioned, that trimming content. This means just trimming parts of videos at the start and the end, splitting videos, that is, uh, splitting your videos into more than one part, merging videos, and adding effects like noise removal. So video editing softwares are what accomplish these things. And they're especially useful if you have a lot of defined content in your lecture. So you will have to merge them together and you might have to um, process a lot of noise removal on different parts. So in order to accomplish this editing, you can either do some small amount of editing from right inside PowerPoint. It does not have many options. It mainly allows you to trim your videos. That is, you can remove some parts at the start and the end, or you can crop your video, like you can edit out some parts at the top and the bottom, etc. But if you want more detailed editing, you will need a software that is actually for editing. So Windows default software for this is actually not too bad. It has more options than PowerPoint. It's slightly limited, but if you just need super basic things like just merging videos, splitting videos, in that case, this should be enough. So we are going to do a demo for this. Or you can download some sort of dedicated editing software for videos. We will use Videopad. This is a free version of a paid software. So you will be able to use this for free as long as you are using it for non-commercial purposes, which is, I guess, our case. We are not making a movie with this. We're just making our personal lectures. However, this will annoy you with some messages at the start, like you will have to confirm that, yes, I'm using it for home use. So other than that, you will basically be able to use all the editing options you need. So, and it's very easy to use, so that's why I picked it. So let's move on and take a look at the demos for these softwares. So the video editor by Microsoft is actually part of the images app that you have from the Microsoft Store. So if you're like me and uninstall it at some point, reinstall it again. It's pretty simple. It's good for light editing. The options are very intuitive. However, it does not support one specific option that I really like. That is, you cannot narrate over video. That is, um, if you recorded the screen of you doing something and then you want to add narration to it, you cannot do that. You can add audio, but you cannot make it match with the video. There's no such option. So this is a disadvantage for me, but if you don't want that, then and you just want to do light editing, video editor might be enough for you. To start the video editor built in Windows, open the Start menu and type Video Editor. This is the one that you want. This is the starting interface. We're going to make a new video project. Give the project a name. The storyboard is where the videos we are going to work on will be placed. We need to first add them to the project library. I'm going to add a video where I'm writing on a paper. The next one will be of a monkey doll. The first video will not have any sound, whereas the second one will have some background noise and some beeping sounds. In order to use these clips in our project, we have to drag them into the storyboard. If necessary, we can drag them and rearrange. The first thing we're going to check is how we can trim a video. That is, how we can remove some parts at the start and the end. To do that, click Trim. To trim the video, you just have to drag the markers at the start and the end and put them at the time positions where you want your video to start and end. You can remove any unwanted parts in your video this way. Dragging the bubble-like thing will show you what is happening at a certain point of the video. That helps you choose what to remove and what to keep. You can see that the length of the video has now reduced to 1 minute and 1 second. It was originally 1 minute 17 seconds, which you can figure out by clicking Undo. You can also press the Redo button if you want to get back the changes you did. Now let's consider the situation when you want to split your video into several parts. To do that, you'll have to use the split function. To split the track, just place the bubble where you want to make the split. This process will result in two separate clips, the length of which you can see on the right side. Once you press Done, the storyboard will have two separate clips. If you want to make multiple splits, like separate your video into 3, 4, 5 parts, then you will have to repeat this process many times. Also, if you want to remove a region in the middle of a video, then you will have to split the video and then trim it appropriately. Now let's use the other video to demonstrate how you can add text to a video. Just click this button. You can just type what text you want to input and choose among one of the animated text styles. You can also choose among a number of layouts that will decide where exactly in the screen the text will be. But you don't have much freedom. You cannot put the text at a specific place by dragging and dropping. You can also make your videos move and apply 3D effects. We are not going into much detail because they are not very useful for teaching. You can also add some filters to change the look of your picture, but they are also not too useful for teaching either. The changing speed of clips option, however, can be quite useful, especially if you are demonstrating something that's rather time consuming. You can make any video clip up to 64 times faster. Here we are going for, say, 16. Now if I click play on the preview panel, you can see that I'm writing in an amazing speed. So that's because the clip is faster now. One thing I forgot to mention was that any 3D motion or text effect you apply will be applicable only for a certain period. So you can see the monkey text is available only for this time, so we are dragging it to cover the whole clip. There are some less used effects like removing any black bars from your video or rotating the video if you recorded it in the wrong orientation, or you can delete any clips from here, from the storyboard, I mean. Lastly, once you're satisfied with what you've done with your video clips, you can export the video. Do note that every single clip on the storyboard will be included in the video, so if you don't want any clip, you should remove it. To export the video, click the Finish Video at the top right. Keep the default 1080p settings and save your video to your location of choice. After your video has finished exporting, you can have some post-processing options. Among them, the draw option might be useful for teachers. You can write on the screen with the pen tool, pencil tool, or fountain pen tool. So I've written monkey. This text lasts only a few seconds, so it's only useful if you want to explain something quickly. The text is not going to last there forever. Let's experiment a little. We can see the background noise of our original video is still present in the exported video, so we'll try to find a way to fix that. See, the writing disappears after a few seconds. Now we are going to save a copy of the video that contains the drawing we just did. Now we can preview the new video with all the drawings we did. We can also access it by simply going to the folder where we saved the original video. The new video is the video we originally made, and the new video 2 is the one with the drawings. One last concept before we finish things up. You can add title cards to your videos. If you're making a lecture video, maybe you can put a title card every time you start a new topic. You can rearrange these cards by dragging and dropping. The text and the backgrounds can also be edited, as well as their duration. Windows Video Editor does not allow you to add narration despite claiming otherwise. They just allow you to add some custom audio files. However, they do allow you to choose among some cool background BGMs, so I am going to add one here. You can see there's some noise we can hear even over the music. I actually added some beeping sounds to demonstrate noise, but I guess I didn't need to. So we are going to change the volume of this video before we export. To do that, just click the speaker icon on top of the clip and change it according to your liking. I'm going to set it to 0. Now you can see that there's only music, there's no beeping sound. That was all about Windows Video Editor. I hope this demo will be useful to teachers who want to use this software for light editing. Like I mentioned before, Videopad is free for home use, and you have to confirm it every time you use the software. Make sure that if you accidentally answer wrongly, or for some other reason the software thinks that you are not using it for home use, just uninstall and reinstall it and the problem should be gone. So don't worry if it gives you strange messages. And the one thing that I really appreciate about Videopad is that you can record narration over video. And unlike PowerPoint, where you have to make sure that your narration for a specific slide is correct from start to the end, you can delete parts of your narration from anywhere in your video. So this is very useful. If you have a lot of tiny mistakes, you can fix them all by going through the video and re-recording. So that is very useful. So anyway, let's move on to the demo. Videopad is my editor of choice when I'm trying to do something a little more complex. When the software first starts up, you get a message like this. Make sure you always choose the first option, because if you choose the second option, Videopad will assume you are using a demo and you'll have to reinstall in a few days. Upon start, Videopad will allow you to either open a new project, select one of your recent projects, or browse to any specific project you want to open. We are going to open a new project. If you accidentally close that pop-up, you can also start new projects by going to the menu at the top left. Now let's talk about the interface. The timeline here is where you will be doing the editing. You can edit the video track and audio track separately. I find it very useful because I can cut out any parts in my recording where I said something wrong or stuttered or where I have random background noise. Similar to Windows Video Editor, the area on the left here is the library where we will store the files that we are planning to use in the project. You can right click and use one of these options, or we can just drag and drop, which I prefer. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the same videos as what I used for the Windows Video Editor. I can either directly drag them to the timeline or drag them to the library. So I'm going with the first option. The clips have been successfully imported and you can see them on the timeline now. The timeline can also be changed to a storyboard, which makes it look the same as Windows Video Editor. Can be useful if you're just trying to change the order of your clips, but otherwise I always work in the timeline. The timeline is much better if you're planning to do detailed editing on the clips. There's a ruler thing here that shows what moment exactly are you at, and when you hover above the video, it shows you the information on the original clip it is from. So if you want to merge clips, you don't really have to do anything. You just have to go to export video and it will include all the videos on your timeline. If you want to do more detailed editing, this red line here indicates the point where you are at. You can click any specific place in the ruler, or you can just drag the red line to see previews of what's happening at certain points of the video. This is similar to the bubble thing you had for Windows Video Editor. Following the same pattern as before, let's talk about how we can trim the video. You can see these third bracket like symbols when you go to the end of a video. You can just drag them to crop your video according to your needs. We are going to use the red line and the ruler to decide where exactly we are going to trim. So say I want to only keep the part where I'm writing, so everything after the writing I want to trim. Let's place the red line there and drag the third bracket like thing until that position. Also note that the monkey video has come forward, so there will not be any blank space where the trimmed part was supposed to be. From the previous video, you should remember that we had some beeping noises in the monkey video, so let's trim that. Also note that any trimming you perform is going to be non-destructive. That means if you just drag the marker back to the original point, whatever you cut out will be restored. Also, you can just use the undo and redo hotkeys like Ctrl Z and Ctrl Y. Trimming from the start of the clip might be a little confusing because your video will snap back to match with the previous video. No blank space will be created. If you do want a blank space, in that case, you will have to press Alt key as you perform the trimming. The auto snapping option is very useful, but sometimes it can create issues because you're trying to move away something, but you can't. In that case, just press Alt as you're dragging away the clip. By the way, you don't have to bother with this if you just want to add a clip in the middle of two clips. You can either right-click the clip you want to insert, use the third option here, or you can just go back to the storyboard view and rearrange the videos. One thing I forgot to mention was that whenever we are doing this editing, you should be in sequence preview. Okay, now that we have discussed how to crop, let's move on to splitting the videos. So if you wish to split a video at a certain point, you will have to place the line at the point you want to split it. You can split all the tracks at once, or you can go here and split either all the video tracks, all the audio tracks, or just one specific track. I find it very useful when I'm trying to remove some noise and add my recorded narration over it. Speaking of noise, let's take a look at how we can remove noise in Videopad. The first clip here had some noise after I started writing. So just like Windows Video Editor, we can choose to mute this part of the clip. Also, we can choose a specific region to remove, something that was not possible in Windows Video Editor. So we just have to click where we want to start. Place the cursor on the red line so it becomes a double-headed arrow, and click and drag until the end point. You can now choose to delete the selected part, or do the opposite and only export the selected part. So usually I use this more for deleting. Let's try this again for the part where I had several beeping sounds. As you can see, no more beeping sounds. We could have also done this by simply splitting this part of the clip and then unlinking the audio from the video. Then we can simply delete the whole audio clip. This is useful when you don't want to delete the video but you want to delete the audio. Though we managed to successfully delete the beeps, there's still some noise remaining in the video. If it's just noise, we can remove. But imagine if your voice was also mixed in there. So in that case, we want to apply some sort of noise removal filter. VideoCam allows us to add a number of audio and video effects, and noise removal is one of the audio effects. We just need to click the FX button on the clip, or we can click the audio effects button at the top bar. We'll see a number of possible options when we click the plus sign, and out of them we will choose noise removal. Minus 40 means that you're only removing noise that's less than minus 40 dB. On the other hand, 0 means that you're pretty much removing every sound possible. I usually pick something a little less than 30 dB. Let's check what it did. Not good, so let's repeat the process. Better than before. I prefer Videopad mainly because it allows me to add narration over my videos. Even for this video, this was recorded with one program and then I added narration using Videopad. So you just have to click the Add Narration button, then click Record Narration. On the right side, you have the options to choose your devices. I usually leave it at default. Click the red button to start recording. Testing Narration 1. The file is saved as soon as you click the square. If you click the record button again, you will create a new file. The files can be found in the bin. Testing Narration 2. The files will also automatically be added to the timeline, so you don't have to worry about that. From the sequence preview, we can try hearing our recordings. Testing Narration 1. Testing Narration 2. So this way now my voice is a part of the video. Now that we are all done with audio, let's talk about the video. You can add video effects the same way as you did audio effects. I usually just add a few effects like crop, scale, or blur. Videopad automatically goes to clip preview pretty often. It's slightly annoying, but switch to sequence preview whenever you notice this. Like Windows Video Editor, VideoCAD can also change the clip speed, which is pretty useful whenever you have something that is dragging a little bit too long. So just right click, click Change Clip Speed, and put the clip speed as a percentage. So if you want double the speed, put 200. If you want 5 times the speed, put 500. Just like before, you'll be able to see me writing at a very frightening speed because the clip has been sped up. You can add text effects too from here, and unlike Windows Video Editor, you have a lot of different animations available for the text, and you can also move the text anywhere, change its formatting, so you have much more flexibility in what you'd like to do with your text. The typewriter-like animation you can see throughout this video is also provided by Videopad. For me, being able to move it around is the feature I appreciate the most. You can also add some animations like it's scrolling from one end of the screen to another. I don't use them much, but they might be useful for presentations. Lastly, let's talk about how you can export the videos that you have created. I usually use the lossless video option if I have two small files that I just want to put together or split at sliding points. That is, if I want to make minor edits. But if I have some large files that I want to re-encode and save in a different format, in that case, just click Video File, let Videopad choose the best option for you, and export. You can change the resolution, file format, etc. to your own liking. I usually leave them as they are in default and ask Videopad to auto-match with the content. The speed of export depends on how complex your project is and how powerful your computer is. The recorded original videos tend to be big, so if you're using lossless export, your output file might be pretty big. And if you're using one of the other choices where the video is being re-encoded, that is compressed, your file size will be smaller. Now we are going to open up the video and check if the video has both of the element videos and my voice. Testing narration 1. Testing narration 2. So in this demo, we saw how we can do all the necessary types of basic editing in Videopad and also some few examples of advanced editing. I hope you found this demo useful, and here is where we are going to end the last demo of our lecture series. Before we finish, I'd like to give my thanks to Shujan Halada sir for his review and detailed tutorial for using the software DroidCam for recording whatever you're writing on your paper. And I would also like to thank Bishwajit Bonipathi sir for his review of Microsoft Whiteboard and Huion H640p tablet. I personally don't have that tablet, so I couldn't go into detail about this in this presentation, but it's a good tablet. So if you are unsure about what tablet to buy, you can buy this. This is pretty cheap, but its performance is quite good. And with that last slide, our presentation has finally come to an end. Thank you everyone who stayed with me until now. If you have any feedback, suggestions, or comments on how this lecture series could have been improved, feel free to leave some comment below and I'll see if I can improve something. Even if you don't have any constructive feedback but want to comment anyway, go ahead. I love getting feedback. So with this, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you everyone once again, and please stay safe in the middle of this pandemic. May Allah protect us all.